that was different, some of you may think. And you may wonder, what is this guy going to talk about? So, if you want to know a culture, learn their dance. Today we will talk about dance and how it's closely related to the culture of those who dance it. Martha Graham, a famous choreographer, said that dance is the hidden language of a culture. Dance is the hidden language of a soul. But not only that, dance is also the hidden language of a culture. When we learn a dance, we come to know a culture, because dance is history as well. David McCullough, a famous poet, said that history is who we are and why we are the way we are. History is who we are and why we are the way we are. Let me share another quote with you. This is from a famous Mormon dancer, Guadalupe Duran, from Mexico. And she said that folklore is the accumulated wisdom of a people, and dance is a branch of the folklore. So when we learn dance, it's not only about some steps and that's it. No, it's more than that. It's history, it's culture, it's wisdom in the expression of art. So, to understand more about dance, let's talk about the origins of each dance. Let's talk about where they come from. So many dances come from Aboriginal, the first people that dance these dances, like the Haka that you just saw. Some other dances come from the early settlers. Some of these dances could be like country dance. Other dances come from blended cultures. All those Latin dances that you see, like bachata, merengue, cumbia, they are a mix of different cultures come to one. And the last one is the newer variations, when a dance evolves over generations and generations. But I want to make this more clear. I want to understand better. So let's travel. What if we travel a little bit? The first place where we will go is Brazil. Let's learn about the Capoeira. The Capoeira is a dance that started in the 16th century. This dance started with Afro-Brazilians, that they were captive. They were taken as slaves, and they weren't allowed to express their culture, and they weren't allowed to practice any martial arts. So what they did is they started to make some movements. They started to dance, and they were allowed to do so. So by this they learned how to defend themselves, how to fight. This is not only a dance, this is also a martial art. And through this dance, they were able to free themselves from the slavery and fight against their masters. What if we now go to Japan and learn about the kabuki? The kabuki is a dance that started as well in the 16th century. And this dance started with women that wanted to express themselves and have a good time. So they dance in the streets and they also sing at the same time. And this dance was good for them, but it didn't give them very good money. So this woman did prostitution, and the government was against that. They were like, okay, we need to stop this. So we will ban women from kabuki. What happened? They started to use young men for the kabuki. Yeah, they got the makeup and everything, but the same thing happened. They did prostitution as well because they didn't have money. Then the government was like, okay, no more women, no more young men. We will use only senior men in the kabuki, and it's what they did. So through this we learn about a culture that protects their values. It's not repression, it's something that they want to protect. They didn't want their population to be into prostitution. And this dance, the kabuki, tells stories that talk about politics, that talk about comedy, that talk about love. Now, what if we travel to Mexico and we learn about Los Viejitos, another dance? And no, don't think I'm making fun of President Monson by calling him an old man. One day when he went to Mexico, he saw this dance of Los Viejitos and he got a poncho, like they were in the costume, and he was very happy dancing with them. Well, This dance, Los Viejitos, started like over 400 years ago when the Purépecha people from the South American area came to the area of Michoacán, Mexico. When they got here, all the healers did this dance of Los Viejitos. They started to use their feet really fast and they started to dance. And they used this dance as a preparation to heal other people in their communities. When this happened, the dance evolved, as we see before. This is one of those dances that evolves with time. And they started to use the dance as a storytelling of explaining how the planets move. So a man would dress as the sun. Another man would dress as a woman, representing the Earth. And another 8 men would dress as the other planets of the solar system. And they will dance around the sun. So the Purépecha people, the people that dance the Viejitos, already knew that the planets move around the sun before any European nation knew this. Now, what if we travel again to Mexico, but more to the central part, and learn about the Aztec dances? Most of these dances were used for religious purposes. The Aztecs danced to praise their gods. They were very ceremonial and they were very reverent to their gods. But when the Spaniards came, they banned these dances because they knew that it was something that will pull them down. But over time, they retake these dances and they kept dancing. So some of the most representing things in the Aztec dances are feathers, seashells, and fire. All these elements representing the god of the water, the god of the sun, and the god of the sky. Now, our last stop will be in the beautiful land of the long white cloud, New Zealand. So the dance that you saw at the beginning of my presentation is the Haka. The Haka is a dance that started over 300 years ago. The Haka, it started not as a war dance as many people think. This dance started with explaining stories about nature, the fight against the elements and stuff like that. But then it became a dance of war. And let me tell you the story of the Haka Kamate. There are many different Hakas, but one of the most important is the Kamate. The Haka Kamate that I did tells the story of the victory of life over death. So when you see the All Blacks, the national rugby team of New Zealand, or when you see anyone doing the Haka Kamate, they are telling you that they can overcome death, that they are more powerful than any of their problems. When you go Haka Kamate, Kamate means death, death. And when you go Kora, Kora means life, life. So now this Haka is used for important occasions like this. I'm happy to have you all here today. When I do the Haka to you, it means that I respect you, I honor you, and that I love you. That's what the Haka means today. That's why you see it in weddings, you see it in welcomings, you see it in funerals, anywhere. So, what do we learn about the dances? The dances play a big part in our lives. So I want to invite you today to learn a dance that is strange to you. And if you want to try to learn a dance from a culture that you don't like so much. Probably you are like, oh man, those flipping Mexicans and the flipping tacos. And you can learn some Aztec or some Los Viejitos. So I invite you to learn a dance. As I told you at the beginning, if you want to know a culture, learn their dance. But if you want to come to love them, dance with them. Thank you.